I got an open door policy, which I follow. For myself. I don't know how it would work for anyone else, but it's been pretty good to me. I see an open door. Well, that might be going a little far. If I'm in a public building and I see a door that I've never been behind and I don't see anybody going in, and it doesn't say authorized personnel only or keep out, I will almost always reach out and check the handle. And if it turns, I'm in. Because there's nothing telling me I'm not supposed to be in there. There's no threat of penalty. Only beautiful things lie ahead and above. San Jose State, Hugh Gillis Hall has or had a door like that. I've walked by that door so many times through the hallways. I walk down there, and I look at it, and one day I looked and I said, and the door opened, and I opened it, and I said, a stairwell. What the hell's up there? And so I went and shut the door behind me. Up the stairs I go, out onto the roof of Hugh Gillis Hall. It's all alone. The trees are coming up around me. I'm just like, wow, that's fantastic. What a view. I lit up a cigarette and stood up there on a beautiful morning on the roof. Went to the south side of the building, looking south, and just looked over the city. Not so much the skyline, but there's enough open room in there you could see things, parks and stuff, bums doing things to each other. I really wasn't paying attention to that. I was just enjoying the beauty of the morning. You want to talk about freedom? There's freedom right there. Making a decision even though somebody might not think it's right, and you're not harming anybody at all, except possibly yourself. So I was finishing up on that side, and I walked over to the north side of the building. I looked down. It's 2, maybe 3 stories high. That's all. And the trees are coming. And there are people right down below me at the door opening. They're standing there smoking. That was when you could smoke on campus. I went back to get my diploma, pick it up, 13 years after I left, 16 to 3, 13 years after I left there. And I even looked for signs. I didn't see anything, and I said, I'm sure you can't smoke on this campus, but I'd walk across campus with a cigarette, just walking. I don't look any different than I did back then. I looked really old for my age back then. Yeah, I'm not bad for 92. It's the same concept. You just, you do it until they tell you can. That's the whole better to ask forgiveness than whatever, but I don't know if I go by that. If something feels like it's wrong, there are enough easy things to do in our world to keep things straight. Why hassle over the little shit, So I'm looking at I walked the campus until finally some yard worker said, "Hey, it's against the rules." I said, "I didn't see any sign." But I'd been walking around there for 2-3 days. I had to do a lot of work with Mark, whatever his Kelsner or whatever his name was, the psychology guy in the department, that in the office, is going through my stuff that's so old. What the hell am I supposed to do with this? But I have a lot of it. Yeah, I got a lot of it. Scuba diving class, taekwondo classes, tumbling classes. I had chemistry classes I didn't need. I just had to see all this shit. I couldn't get into a photography class. It was full. So I had a lot of, don't forget the biology and the statistics and just, I like to see different things. So I open the door. I walk up the stairs. I go look at the city. I enjoy a pleasant morning. I walk to the side. I see people down there smoking, and I know them. I'm sitting there looking at them. It's just such a funny feeling. Look at them down there. I could jump on them and I wouldn't even get hurt. Nice soft landing. And so I reached out and I grabbed one of the tree branches and I pulled it to me. And it was about that big around, up there. And so I grabbed a hold of it and I whooped out to the tree. Nobody even knew I was up there. And I just come climbing out of the tree and say, "Ha!" And they go, "Ha!" Yeah. Look at all this stuff. You entertain others, you entertain yourself. There's an open door. Who knows what lies behind it? It could be a fucking lion. Who knows? But I haven't run into that yet. Another time, I think it was the Edge in San Jose. Suicidal Tendencies was there, and I was all loaded. I've told this story, but that story comes out because I was walking by this door, and I'd already been well into the open door policy thing for a while. So it's just common. I not an open door. I just see a door that looks like it just doesn't belong there unless there's something for it, and nobody's going to it. And so I just walked up. I open it. Stairs. I said, look at that. Walk up the stairs. It's after the show. Nobody up there. I walk in to the backstage. There's a cooler there with beers in it and water and everything. I'm like, And I was fucking loaded and dry in the mouth. I was still young back then. And so I took a water. I sit down. Pretty soon people start filtering in and they're looking at me and people I don't know. And this one guy says, "Hey, you need to get out of here." I said, "I'm not doing anything. I'm just drinking the water." Yeah, sometimes you still gotta fight it, and try and convince them, coerce them, whatever it takes to let you stay, because they don't know what they're missing if they kick you out. I'm a barrel of... You can fill in the blank. It's an open door policy. And so I didn't leave, and they weren't going to push me out. But then, once Mike Muir and the other guys, whoever they are, I've only known Muir's name ever. I was not raised on punk. I learned it as I went, and whatever you want to call it. And, funky groove, or whatever it is. And they asked me to leave, and I said, okay. I was done with my water. I got up and left. But I got to hang out with Suicidal Tendencies for a while. That was fun. That's an open door policy. And then they picked me up from behind as I was a few feet from the door of the bouncer. And he's carrying me. I'm like, "What are you doing?" I'm walking out. And he throws me out in the street. I said, "Yeah." I landed on my feet. That's a good look for me. Somebody just walking down the street and, that's that, and I was like, "Hi." And somebody had already earlier in the night, I heard it swathering through the cloud. "It's Judas, it's Judas." And I was like, wow, that's weird. That's fucking weird. I could have been a contender. But then there's another time. walking through the streets of Zhengzhou, Henan province, Zhonghua, China, and Martin from New Zealand and we walk by this place every night, and there's this little alley, this like alley about that wide, you know, and we walk by it in the black of night, and it's just, you can hear things down there swarming of people, you know. There are all these apartments, evidently. I didn't know what was down there. Who knew what was down there? And I'd say to him every time, I said, let's go down there, I want to go down there. And he's like, no, I don't want to go down there. Jeez. It's like D-Day with a rattlesnake, trying to pick up a rattlesnake, and he's yelling at you, don't do it. Why? Because he's afraid of snakes. I'm sorry, D-Day, I got to hold my rattlesnake. And so when Martin and I split ways, one night I was walking by there alone, and I looked at that little black portal in the edge of the concrete jungle, and I said, I'm going down there. There's your open door. It's not even having to open anything. And I just walked through there, and there were all these apartments and stuff, and you'd see pink lights on in some of them, which meant they were a massage parlor down there. And it's this narrow alley, and I'm walking through there, and I'm just saying, what the hell is this down here? And I'm coming, all of a sudden I saw like light filtering through a blue light, and I come up, and when I got to the end of it, it opens up a full view. There's this fantastic giant building covered in blue neon. It's like Xanadu. And I said, wow. And that was my place. That was my place. For a good while after that, I'd go there. Nobody's going to tell me not to walk down or through an open door. It's up to me to find out what harm it creates me. If I think it's going to hurt somebody else, I don't do it. I just don't. There's freedom right there. Oh, and there's another example of other people doing it. I just heard some person, long hair, well, I can't say like me. She was a bleach blonde, and she's talking and saying that January 6th was a peaceful protest because, you know, the cops just opened the doors for them, and they walked in, and well, because the police were running, they couldn't hold it anymore, I suppose. I saw the way the doors got open, banging, bashing, fucking battering ram type of things. Ram it, ram it, ram it, ram it up, poop, shoot. That's my Frank Zappa impression. And yeah, some of these people just walked in, which I didn't see any of that either. I saw a swarming horde fucking spilling out like a goddamn, like a virus. Just wah, fucking sneezed in the inside of the Capitol building. Just a fucking God sneezed inside. Just wah, all this fucking mucus and shit comes flying in. But maybe somewhere along the way somebody said, oh, they walked in. But I'm going to tell you, according to my open door policy, what keeps me out of hundreds of people in jail, which I have to say shouldn't have been there. What keeps me out is that I look at something like that and I say, I know I'm not supposed to be there. And if I go in there, there's a good chance somebody's going to take a little bit of my freedom away. And I'm going to be sitting in a hole somewhere with some jackass. I mean, the odds are pretty high, and he's probably going to be shitting on the floor.